What's going on, guys? How you doing? It's Uncle Muscles. Today I got a new mouse. This is actually the second one I purchased. I think they're very good. The HyperX Pulsefire core. This one has RGB. I think it's 6800 DPI max. Is that what I understand correctly? I forget the exact. Yeah, 6200 DPI. Pickstart 3327. I don't know how that's coming up in the video. HyperX Pulsefire core. 87 grams. It's actually very heavy, and I'm going to show you one other thing I really like about it just right off the bat. This is, like I said, this is a brand new mouse. It's not the one I'm personally using right now. It's just a backup I purchased. And I'm going to show you the thing I like right off the bat the most about it. And then I might also just show you, I'll just show you what else comes in the box. HyperX has you covered. I think HyperX is HP or Kensington or both. I think it's Hewlett Packard, I forget. I was just doing some research recently about HyperX's. I'm very happy with HyperX products in general, and I believe it's just HP. I think it's their like gaming brand. It's also Kensington, so I think Kensington, HP. Oh no, sorry, not Kensington, Kingston Technology. But then I read somewhere online that had to do with Hewlett Packard. So I have to do some double checking on that. But Kingston Technology, and I think they have something to do with HP. I'm not 100% sure on that, but really, HyperX is making some really, really high quality, low cost items that I'm really becoming a big fan of, and this mouse is a perfect example of the reason why. Let me show you the first thing that I really like about this mouse. Aside from the fact that it's, was it 87 grams? One, it's not just all bells and whistles RGB, but look at these feet. I don't know, is that coming up in the camera? Look at the feet that we have on here. I do have the protective film on here. I'm gonna just peel that back for a second and put it back on. But the feet are huge. And honestly, I've noticed a difference immediately in playing games with these giant feet. Now, I don't know about what the replacement feet situation would look like, or the, sorry, skates. I should call it skates, because really skates are, the vinyl skates are where it's at. It's also got a braided cord, and it's not very stiff, so it's easily malleable. I would assume if you take like a heat gun or something to like this and just heat it up very, very minimally, it'd be a lot easier to uncoil and get all the kinks out. But what I wanted to do also is just compare the mouse 4 and 5 buttons. I should just take off all of the cellophane. You guys probably want to see that, right? We'll get back to that. Here, let's take off this one again. Oh, you like that? Oh, you want me to do another? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, that one comes all the way around. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. This mouse is very nice. There's no like rubberized finish or like grip tape or anything like that on the sides, but that's okay. If you want, you can get your own. The mouse 4 and 5, or I should say 5 and 4, forward and back. These seem to be a little bit, this mouse might be better than my other one. This one seemed not as stiff as the other one. Well, no. They're a little stiff. These buttons in general are a little stiff. I've noticed when I hit them up here, sometimes it doesn't register. But overall, the buttons are very, very responsive, and they're very good. I haven't looked inside the mouse yet, so I don't know exactly what brand of mouse button these are. But if you want to compare, this is a G203 Logitech. The buttons are bigger, but it does feel like this button is consistent all the way through. Wherever you click it, it feels like it's the same click. This button, depending on where you're hitting it, like lower on the button or higher up, or towards the top part or the middle part of the button, or the mouse rather, it definitely has a different type of rigidity. So it's hard to explain, but these buttons aren't the most amazing, but they work and they're responsive. It's also got an up and down, or a positive and a minus for the DPI. These are all reprogrammable. What I've been doing, and this is actually one of the problems I found with the software, is that I've been reprogramming these to function 24, 23, 22, 21, something like that. And that way, normally games, if they don't have mouse inputs like mouse 4 or 5 or mouse 7, 8, whatever these are, you can just use the function remapping. And that way you're not like recording a macro or adding some new button to it, but those function keys do exist, and a lot of times you can map stuff to those buttons. Now with this HyperX software, I've noticed, and this is a minus for them, it only goes up to F12. They are aware, I think actually only goes up to F8, but they are aware of this, and they are gonna add that at some point or another. It is on the developer forum, which is good. So they're at least in communicado about it, so that's good. They at least know what's going on. Like I said, these feet, they're not... I have customized feet on these skates, and they're better, but these are much higher quality. It's hard to explain. Like, these are better, they're more slippery, there's less friction, but these are such high quality. It's like, I'd really like to have some really, really dense pads like these with these types of vinyl skates. I forget what brand I use. Some knockoff brand. These are the ones I have for the Death Adder. Once again, you can compare. These 4 and 5 buttons are very similar to the Death Adder, but they're just a little bit more long, I would say. Maybe about the same length, but then also they don't click as easily as the 4 and 5 on the Death Adder. That being said, it is smaller than a Death Adder. It doesn't have the curvature a Death Adder has, but it does have very similar concavity to the mouse 1 and mouse 2 buttons. So I like it. The stylization of this mouse is nice, and if I want to add my own grip tape, which I actually might end up doing, I've never done that before, but I want to, this might be the mouse I do it to. Now, there is some weird design here that probably would limit the ability for something sticky to stick to this properly, unless it's a very thin piece of tape, and then it actually will like adhere to the whatever this is, the form, the cutouts and stuff like that, the actual minor details of the mouse. That'd be interesting. Now overall, like I said, this mouse is very, very good. I run it at 200 DPI. I do notice, at least in Overwatch, and this might be consistent to Overwatch specifically or not, I'm not 100% sure. Let me just move some of this stuff off the table. It's not really necessary at this point. Some of the stuff that I run in Overwatch, I do notice that like the mouse skips. If someone wants to give me some feedback in the comments below about maybe why that might happen. I've heard that running your DPI too low actually makes it so these, sometimes the mouse will skip. I had the same issue with the Logitech, and over time, this Logitech mouse, both of them stopped working. And I don't know if it was because I was running my DPI too low and that overexerts the laser or the sensor or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. If someone wants to get back to me on that, I'd be very, very curious to exactly why that's happening. I had the same issue with 2 of these Logitech 203s, where it's like, after a long amount of time of usage at a very, very low DPI, it just can't pick up sensing anymore. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's this degradation of the sensor over time, or if it's just how I'm using it, or if it's a software issue, or if it's a Windows issue. I noticed that I wasn't having that issue when I was plugging it into Mac computers, and then it did kick in. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on with this, but something with the Logitech software or the hardware or whatever. I've noticed multiple people report about this mouse, the G203 mouse. I'm not a fan of it. However, that being said, using this, because there was no liftoff on this mouse, it did teach me how to use mice more properly. It is very similar as far as form factor, the HyperX, to the Logitech G203, but it has this fluting of the fingers, the triggers, and which is much more similar to like a Death Adder or some type of Razer mouse. Maybe one of the new Death Adder. Some of the more new Death Adders have they're a little bit more like omnidextrous, even though they have the mouse 4 and 5 on the right hand side. But that being said, the HyperX is somewhere in between both of these. And honestly, like, these are my 2 favorite mice. Over time, like I said, I learned how to aim properly with this mouse because its liftoff is so bad. This has a very similar, and honestly has a very similar feeling to a Death Adder. Death Adder, I believe, uses a different type of sensor altogether, so you do have it's different. It's a different feeling. All of these mice have different feelings, but that being said, at 200 DPI, I have a very, very responsive mouse. In Overwatch specifically, I've noticed some issues. But that being said, I notice issues in all games at very, very low DPI. So if anybody wants to come maybe give me some feedback on that, why on low DPIs I have issues with my mice either breaking or deteriorating over time, or just having a lot of skipping issues, I think that's kind of probably something that is a given. I just don't really understand that when you're using a very, very low amount of sensing, it's probably going to have a tendency to skip. It makes sense. Low DPI, low dots per inch. I'm moving my mouse. You guys see it on my screen. I'll move my mouse like, well, however long this table is, pretty much the same distance. So yeah, I mean, like, I use a lot of distance with my mice, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's causing somewhat of an issue. That being said, much like the Razer, also this has the extra 7 programmable buttons as opposed to just mouse 4, 5, 6. Plus this one else here. Also, this one you can put down. It doesn't have a left and a right on the mouse, but for 20 bucks, I think I bought this for 15. I think now on Amazon it's 20. I think also you can get it for like somewhere between 10 and 15. Also, if you get one of the renewed versions. This is really. I bought 2. This was the new one. I just started unboxing it and for you guys. But overall, I mean, I couldn't be happier. For 15 bucks, I bought 2 for 15, so it was like 30 altogether, plus tax. I could not be happier with this mouse. It's really, really, really nice. Like I said, it has the braided cord. For my purposes, I'm running at 1920 by 1080. I don't need more than 200 DPI. That gives you the most granularity that I need for FPSs. I understand other people probably don't play like that, and that's fine. But that's just what I do. And then if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free. I use this mouse all the time, twitch.tv/UncleMuscles. I'll be using this probably at least for the next couple months, and I'll probably buy a couple more of these. Just at least as a backup. I'm always interested in new mice. This particularly isn't a very advanced mouse, but for 15 bucks, I really can't figure out a better deal right now. And 6200 DPI is fine for me, specifically because I only use 200. So that's it. That's the HyperX Pulsefire core. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Leave comments below, blah, 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 blah. Twitch.tv/UncleMuscles. Like, comment, subscribe. We're all best friends. Friendies for the restos. Friendos for the restos. That's what we're doing here. I'm trying to think of other things I say. I can't think of anything good. That's it. I love you guys. Bye. Love you guys so much. Bye-bye.